Man, someone said that I need to stop worrying so much about the problems of this country. I'm going to give myself a heart attack. Man, I believe you that I'm going to give myself a heart attack. One of the reasons why I'm so worried about the future of this country, it is not only for my future, it's because I have 2 children. I am also worried about the future of my children and the kind of a country they're going to live in. I'm worried about that. This is the reason why I'm panicking when I see things all over the place right now in South Africa. So someone said, man, Thomas, you need to go out more, man. Stop worrying about how things are in South Africa, man. You're going to give yourself a heart attack. Man, anyway, guys, recently there was a story that broke out that the ANC Veterans League Deputy President, Mr. Mavuso Msimang, has decided to resign from the African National Congress, stating that the African National Congress has basically failed the people of South Africa. The party has failed to renew itself. They have failed to deliver the services to the people. And he can no longer be the part of a charade. So I've been watching the reaction coming from different people. I've been watching online and I've been watching on television. I've been watching and following this story carefully to try to see how people feel about a man who has been with the African National Congress for 60 years saying that, man, I can no longer continue being the part of the African National Congress. I'm sick and tired of the ANC. I am resigning. I've been watching the reaction from people. And what I've realized is that, guys, it's unbelievable how people have reacted to this story. First of all, people are clapping hands and cheering for Mr. Mavuso Msimang for resigning to the African National Congress after serving the party 60 years. People are calling him courageous. This is a brave move. This is a courageous move. This is heroic. Yeah, you are a struggle hero. So what you have done, it is unbelievable. It is unbelievable. I'm sitting back and I'm like, man, these people cannot be serious. Mavuso Msimang has been with the African National Congress for 60 years. I understand that half of his time was back in the struggle. Fully understand that. The next 30 years of his career in the African National Congress, he was with the African National Congress after they seized power since 1994. So he has been with the African National Congress for 60 years, 30 years in apartheid, 30 years into democracy. I watch people calling Mr. Mavuso Msimang a hero. They call him a stalwart, a hero, someone. This is a move to be commended. But I feel opposite. I feel, man, how people are expressing their views and how they are reacting to this story, I feel completely opposite to how they feel. Because I'm like, damn, why did it take you 30 years to realize that African National Congress is doing nothing for the people? It took you 30 years of the African National Congress into democracy to see that this party is doing nothing for the people. So what is it exactly that people are applauding Mr. Msimang for? The man has been with the African National Congress for 60 years. He has been with the Veterans League for how many years? And these people, guys, have been paid there by the African National Congress. They have been paid to be veterans. But what is it exactly that the Veterans League has done for the people of South Africa? These people have literally done nothing for the people of South Africa. They go around calling themselves struggle heroes, struggle stalwarts. They've done nothing for the people of South Africa. Of course, we acknowledge their contribution back in the struggle. But back in the struggle, these guys are not the only ones that were fighting. This one has to be clear. The struggle heroes under the ANC banner or the struggle heroes under all these political parties are not the only ones that were fighting back in the apartheid. Average citizens of this country were fighting the apartheid system. Average citizens of this country were victims of apartheid government. They were fighting the apartheid government each and every day. Most of these guys, they were exiled. They ran away from South Africa, while the average citizens of this country had to face the apartheid government. So they are not the only ones who fought the apartheid government. So this one has to be clear. They are not the only ones. So it's fine. We acknowledge his contribution back in the days, but he's not the only one who did something. Him and his friends are not the only ones who did something for the people of South Africa. The average South Africans fought the apartheid government. These guys are not the only ones. Guys, as South Africans, we really need to start taking credit for what South Africans has done. White people, black people, Indians people, people from all sorts of races, they fought apartheid. So these guys calling themselves stalwarts because they fought apartheid, acting like they are the only ones who fought apartheid. Man, this is completely wrong. Fine. Mr. Msimang has been with the ANC for 60 years. So now I want us to focus on his 30 years into democracy. He's been with the ANC for 30 years. For 30 years, man, he has benefited. I think he has gotten every single benefit that there is to get from the African National Congress. I think there is no benefit that Mr. Msimang has never benefited from the African National Congress. He benefited from everything. He saw when the African National Congress broke down the country. And it is shameful for him to say that he had hope when President Ramaphosa became the president, because Ramaphosa inherited a broken country. We know that President Jacob Zuma's presidency was the final nail in the coffin of South Africa. So Ramaphosa, whatever he inherited from President Zuma, was already broken. And Ramaphosa, being a typical ANC, he continues to break things further. So for him to say that I had hope when Ramaphosa came into power, how did you have hope when Ramaphosa came into power, when you knew exactly what the African National Congress has done? For 30 years, man, the African National Congress has devastated the lives of the people of this country. For 30 years, the people in this country, man, they've never witnessed something like this. And you know, I'm someone who likes to spend time, especially with people who lived in apartheid, man. I love to hear about their stories. I love to hear how things were in apartheid. How you know, sometimes people will tell you that, man, you know, back in apartheid, man, we were much safer. You know, people could sleep outside and nothing would happen, man. People would go to holidays. They would never lock their doors and no criminal will enter their doors. These are the kind of stories that people tell us about apartheid. These are the kind of things, as much as they tell us about the oppression and what the apartheid government did to them, they also tell us about the good stories of what happened under the apartheid government. This man has been with the ANC for 60 years. And he's 30 years into democracy. So he's telling us now that he has decided to step away from the party because the party has basically failed to serve the people of South Africa. People are applauding him of that. And I'm sitting back frustrated and I'm like, no, why would people applaud Mr. Msimang for distancing himself from the African National Congress when he has benefited everything from the African National Congress? And why would Mr. Msimang have hope when Ramaphosa comes into power, knowing very well what the African National Congress stands for? He saw what the African National Congress did with the country for the past 30 years. We saw unemployment goes up. We saw crime go up. This is why I'm telling you about the stories of the people that lived in apartheid. They will tell you about even employment. People will tell you, man, my grandmother used to tell me that, you know, the police officers, man, they would roam around the streets looking for people who are just sitting at home doing nothing and taking these people to the firms so that these people can work instead of roaming the streets around. This thing of young people sitting at home unemployed, we are seeing this thing with you. This is what my grandmother used to tell me. That it is, my grandmother will tell me that, man, in my whole 80 years of life, it is my first time seeing a 21-year-old sitting at home doing nothing. We have never witnessed this back in apartheid. But today in South Africa, you have over 60% of young people are not working. Millions, man, that is millions and millions and millions of people. And that 60% occurred under the ANC government. So for you to say that you are realizing that the African National Congress has never done anything, has failed the people of South Africa. When did you realize that the African National Congress has failed the people of South Africa? And why did it have to take you 30 years for you to realize that the ANC is failing the people of South Africa? So I don't understand why are people applauding hands for this guy. I honestly don't. Because this guy, it took him 30 years. Man, how many politicians left the African National Congress when they realized that the African National Congress, it is not the party for the people? These guys are not interested in serving the needs of the people. How many politicians left the African National Congress? Why did it have to take him 30 years for him to realize that the African National Congress is doing nothing for the people of South Africa? People are not talking about that, man. They are calling him a struggle hero. What he has done is brave, is heroic. He is the best thing since Muhammad Ali. They're like, people are giving him all the applauses. And I'm like, man, there's no way I can give this guy. Man, you have to understand, this man is already old. He has lived his life. He has lived his life for the past 30 years. He has been living the most opulent life while doing nothing for the people of South Africa. While these people are getting their salaries, don't they ask themselves, why am I getting this money? Because some of us, we work. You know, guys, we work. We wake up in the morning and we go to work. We work. So when you get your salary, you say, this money, I earned this money. I deserve this money, man. I did not get this money because someone felt sorry for me. I earned this money. This is my money. When these people get money, what is it exactly that goes to their heads? I'm getting this money. For what? For nothing. No, they call me a struggle stalwart because I fought apartheid. Man, what about average South Africans who fought apartheid too? Why are those people not being given the benefits that these people are getting at the African National Congress Veterans League? You can't tell me that you're going to pay these people for being the members of the African National Congress, for saying these people fought the apartheid government, when millions and millions of people in this country fought apartheid government. Millions and millions of families are victims of apartheid government. Many people lost their children. People lost their loved ones in the hands of apartheid government. So why are we here paying these people for fighting apartheid government when we have thousands, if not millions of people who fought the apartheid government? He lived in democracy for 30 years. He enjoyed the benefits of the African National Congress for 30 years. He enjoyed them for 30 years. For him to resign today, stating that the party is not performing well to the like to me, man, it says nothing. It says nothing. Where were you for the past 30 years? Where were you? You saw unemployment go up. You saw crime getting totally out of control. You saw state institutions be broken down. And for some reason, you say that you had hope when President Ramaphosa came into power. What kind of a hope did you think that President Ramaphosa was going to bring? What did you think Ramaphosa was going to do? The institutions under Zuma were already broken down. The unemployment was already up. Crime was already out of control. Why did you have hope when President Ramaphosa came into power? It makes no sense to me. You think Ramaphosa had a chance to fix the ANC after 30 years? Do you think today, like, man, just go and see the lectures of Thabo Mbeki. Man, Thabo Mbeki is so frustrated at the African National Congress right now. He's frustrated because he says that one of the things that makes him angry at the party is because the party is failing to renew itself. Man, the party will never renew itself. The ANC will never renew itself. The ANC will die before they renew themselves. The party will die before they renew themselves. So at some point, man, someone need to tell Thabo Mbeki, man, you need to stop with these lectures because they are doing nothing. The party will never. The party has already broken down. The party is corrupt to its cause. What did you do after you were president? Man, yes, you were the president of the African National Congress. Arguably the most successful president under the ANC under the ANC government. But once your tenure was done, you were there playing God there with your friends in the ANC. What did you guys do? When you see these guys break down the African National Congress, what did you do? You did nothing. Now you are doing lectures all over South Africa telling people that the African National Congress is failing to renew itself. When you are the member of the African National Congress, you are still benefiting, you are still getting all your benefits from the African National Congress. So what is wrong with these people, man? What is wrong? 30 years. 30 years. It took him 30 years. Man, the guy is resigning now from the African National Congress. He doesn't have to work anywhere else. He has made enough money. He has benefited. He has enjoyed all the perks in the world. He doesn't have to go and look for work. It took him 30 years to realize that the ANC is doing nothing for the people of South Africa. It took him 30 years. 30 years.
ANC struggle stalwart and veteran Dr. Mavuso Msimang says he had high hopes when President Cyril Ramaphosa took over the country and...
Man, why, why would he have high hopes when Ramaphosa takes over the country? Why would he have high hopes? The state institutions were already broken down. The state institutions were already broken down. The healthcare system was already crumbled. Man, the infrastructure already broken down. Everything is already broken down. But for some reason, he says, no, I had hope when President Ramaphosa came into power. To do what? What did you think Ramaphosa was going to do? The ANC will never fix its mess, man. You have to understand that if the ANC goes in, that if the ANC takes that route of fixing their mess, they're going to have to put a lot of comrades into jail. If the ANC really wants to fix the mess that they did in this country, man, they're going to have to put a lot of comrades into jail. And we know that the ANC does not have appetite for any accountability. So the ANC will never fix their mistakes because they have no appetite for accountability. If they really wanted to fix the African National Congress and really wanted to fix the government, a lot of comrades today would be in jail. Today you see people there in the top 6 of Ramaphosa. You see them in top 6 of Ramaphosa. People that were accused in Zondo Commission, people that have like allegations and allegations on top of allegations of corruption against them. These people were exposed in the Zondo Commission. You remember Agrizi, man. Agrizi was telling us about Nomvula Mkonyane. You remember Agrizi telling us even the color of the mat of Nomvula Mkonyane, telling us the designs of the sofas of Nomvula Mkonyane, telling people that, man, even if you send people today, I can tell you, Nomvula Mkonyane has this kind of sofas, she has this kind of a mat, her TV is sitting this way. Agrizi told us everything. What happened? Nothing. Agrizi was also not innocent, but he told us how the comrades operate. Man, I couldn't believe. Guys, you still remember the whole Bosasa scandal, guys. Bosasa, you remember when Bosasa was really dissected and broken down, and how the government officials would upgrade their own homes using the taxpayers' money. They would send their children to the most expensive schools using the taxpayers' money. These people, they get fat salaries. Still, they don't want to use their salaries. They still go to the public coffers to enjoy life, to send their children to schools, to upgrade their lives, to upgrade the security systems in their homes. These comrades, man, are spending millions upgrading the security systems of their own homes. Then you have Mr. Msimang, who knows of all of these things, telling you that I had hope when President Ramaphosa came into office. Man, what kind of hope did you have? What did you think exactly that Ramaphosa was going to do?
The party.
But he's still waiting for the promised new dawn and has now resigned from his political home of over 60 years.
This part feels weird. He spoke to SABC News anchor Bongi Rezwane.
Let's start here. I know you say this is not easy. And reading your letter, one does get the signal that it really isn't. Why now?
Yeah, thank you for having me on your show, on your program. I was really hoping a little earlier that I would just do radio because TV people get to know my emotions and so on, but no, I'm fine. It's been a bit difficult.
And man, the comrades are having the nicest of lives. Just imagine, man, being this old and the only thing that you have done in your life is playing politics. Imagine how nice it is. Imagine. These people, man, they have never went and attended real job and worked hard for their money. These people have been comrades all their lives. He has been a comrade all his life. He can't say being a struggle stalwart, him fighting the apartheid government makes him special, because he's not special. He's not the only one who was fighting apartheid, so there's nothing special about him. He's just another comrade. For the past 30 years, this guy has done nothing for the people of South Africa. This guy has been earning salaries as the African National Congress Veterans League Deputy President. He has been earning salaries on top of salaries for doing absolutely nothing. Today he's telling us, man, this is the hardest thing that I've done, resigning from the African National Congress because I had hope that Ramaphosa was going to fix everything. Man, this guy saw how state institutions were broken down. He saw how the African National Congress literally broke down this country for 30 years. And now he's telling us, no, I've realized that this party is not working for the people. Man, I wasn't going to react to this story, because this story, man, it really serves no purpose to me. But people's reactions is the one that really pushed me to react to this story and to say, whoa, guys, you can't tell me that you're going to applaud a man who has been a politician for the past 30 years, doing nothing for the people of South Africa, getting salaries, getting perks, most of these things are paid by taxpayers, getting all sorts of perks. And today he's telling us that he's realized that the African National Congress is not the party for the people, and he's resigning. Look at how old he is. Man, the man has already made enough money. There's no need for him to go out and look for a job. He has already made enough money. So even if he says that the African National Congress is doing nothing for the people, he has already benefited. He has already benefited.
It's not an easy decision at all. Not at all. Actually, what was not announced was that 3-4 weeks ago, I actually resigned from being the deputy president of the Veterans League. But that really had a lot more to do with the things I want to do. It's been quite hectic with the veterans. I hate to reduce it to one thing, but you're asking me a question that I must. What did break the camel's back? Was that we're very worried about whether the ANC will cross the line. All the polls indicate that it's not going to happen.
So he's also leaving the ANC because he can see that the party is dying. The party is not going to do good in 2024. You can see why I'm saying this guy is not leaving the ANC, because he's leaving the ANC because there's a chance of him not benefiting after 2024. He's jumping ship because he's like, man, this Titanic is about to hit an iceberg and I better get the hell out of here, because I know it's going to hit the iceberg, so I better get the hell out of here. He's not leaving because the African National Congress is not providing for the people. He's not being genuine about leaving the African National Congress. He's leaving because he thinks after 2024 he will no longer benefit from being the member of the African National Congress. So he might as well jump ship. He's jumping ship because the African National Congress might lose in 2024. He's jumping ship because the African National Congress might go into coalition in 2024. And you know the money will dry up to pay all of these organizations that are doing nothing for the people. It's going to be impossible for the ANC after 2024 to pay for all of these leagues, the Veterans League, the Women's Leagues, all of these leagues that are doing nothing for the people. It is going to be impossible for the African National Congress because they won't have the sole power of running the state. They won't have all the power to steal the money from the state as they used to. Now they will have to govern with other people, and other people are not going to allow the ANC to fund its organization using the taxpayers' money. So he's not leaving because the African National Congress is not providing the needs to the people. He's leaving. He's also leaving because the African National Congress might not do good in 2024. It's all about personal benefits to him. Nothing to do with South Africans. It's all about him.
That includes the polling by the ANC's own pollsters or researchers. And it's clear that all this loss of confidence, loss of votes, if you will, in the ANC is related to a perception that we are very comfortable living with people who are corrupt, who don't have integrity, and therefore we care more about protecting those friendships or not offending those friendships than really making sure that the core business, the core reason for our existence is the delivery of services, however you define them at any level, to the people. When you have got people who are not really competent to do that, and perhaps you keep them because it will be difficult to do away with them, it will unravel certain things. I think it's, to me, a sign that there is something terribly weak around that. We said, anybody, and this is not new, because the step-aside thing has been in place for some years. The person who steps aside is not necessarily guilty of anything, but the very image of a leading person being charged, the decision, a good decision, was that they must step aside until they sort this thing out. We now have a higher level commission of inquiry into state capture, And it points to some people, among many in the ANC, and says they need to be referred to the National Prosecuting Authority, who would then decide whether they're guilty or not.
Guys, this thing, man, it has nothing to do with the needs of South Africans, man. I know now he's talking about the fact that the African National Congress, like it has failed to deal with corruption. He wants us to believe that this is one of the reasons why he's leaving the African National Congress, because these people have failed to deal with corruption. But his first statement is true. He thinks that the African National Congress is not going to cross the line in 2024. And that is the reason why he's leaving the African National Congress, because he will no longer benefit. This guy is a classic politician. So I see people going around clapping hands and applauding him for leaving the African National Congress and calling him brave for leaving the African National Congress. Man,
I think if we decided that we would say, comrades, we're not saying you're guilty of anything, just as is the case, we step aside, but elections are coming. Why don't we just give the opportunity to the many, and I mean it seriously, ANC people, have seen them in parliament and seen them elsewhere, give them a chance to come on the list.
I'm going to get to the chance in just a moment, but there's something you mentioned, and you say that, this is around the polling towards the elections. Did your decision at all have anything to do with what the Secretary General of the party yesterday said, that the veterans are discampaigning the party? It's also contained in the Veterans League statement post, your resignation from the ANC. So did that at all play any role in where you found yourself?
Absolutely not. In fact, I started drafting this letter before the Malula made that statement. I only saw it towards the evening, and I saw the reaction on the WhatsApp group and so. So no, it had nothing to do with that. It had everything to do with an expectation that the National Executive Committee would say, guys, we face the risk of losing power, but we also face the risk of plunging the country into instability, because there is no party that will come in that could defeat the ANC. If the ANC fails to cross to make 50%, there is no other one which will do that. So that's going to force us into coalitions, the country into coalitions. And really, you do need a certain level of maturity to work with people and find common things, but with whom you disagree. What we've seen in the municipalities even is that we lack, respectfully, let me say this, we lack the maturity. You've seen people going into a coalition with this one and they're out and they're with the other. You come into this kind of arrangement because you think those things on which you agree are good enough for us to move forward. But it can't change in 6 months and then so on. So I am afraid of coalitions, and I did not want the ANC to end up in a coalition situation. And I was...
Of course, you didn't want the ANC to end up in a coalition, because you want the ANC to continue funding your opulent lifestyle while the people of this country are poor. Man, I'm not going to play the whole interview, guys. I think you can get the gist right now. I'm arguing that for people to applaud Mr. Msimang for resigning from the ANC after 30 years of enjoying all the pegs in the African National Congress for doing nothing, I don't think people should be out here applauding him. Guys, I don't know, maybe you feel different about this thing. You can tell me what you think on the comment section. But I completely feel like people shouldn't be applauding this kind of stuff, this kind of behavior. People shouldn't be applauding this behavior. Man, you can hear from the horse's mouth. He's telling you that he doesn't think the African National Congress is going to cross the line in 2024. This is one of the reasons why he's leaving the African National Congress. It has nothing to do with serving the people of this country. Like he said in his statement that it is not serving the people, it has failed to renew itself. All those reasons, man, are just a smoke screen. The real reason why Mavuso Msimang has left the African National Congress, it's because the ANC might not win majority in 2024. The benefits are going to dry up. This is the reason why he's leaving the African National Congress. It has nothing to do with people's needs, like he wants us to believe. Nothing to do with that. Has anything to do with his benefits. He doesn't want the African National Congress to get into coalition. Why? Because if the African National Congress gets into coalition with other party men, there are other parties that will never allow the African National Congress to do what they are doing right now, which is using the taxpayers' money to fund their own organization. The other party that's going to go into coalition with the ANC, it is not going to allow the ANC to use the state fund to use the state fund to continue to fund this organization. So they know of these things. So him leaving the African National Congress, it has nothing to do with the party failing to deliver to the people of South Africa. It has everything to do with him losing his benefits. Guys, I don't know if I'm wrong. Please tell me if you think I'm wrong. Tell me on the comment section. Don't forget to hit that like button, and the most important part is subscribe. My name is Thomas Mavuso, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.